Hi everyone, welcome to the 5 to 9 podcast.
A podcast about creators for creators living the 5 to 9 life. Today we've got Tobi Shonibare.
How you doing, guys?
Hello, hello.
Good hanging out as always.
Yeah,
Still in the hotel room.
See him every year at Max.
Yeah, your studio looks a bit weird.
We're here at Adobe Max, and Tobi's also an Adobe insider, just like us.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, maybe just to begin with, tell us a bit about yourself and who you are and what you do.
I am Tobi Shinobi. I've been doing this for maybe 6-7 years, kind of a blur.
Yeah.
Because in a past life I was like working in law. I worked in law for maybe about 7 years, it feels like. Again, bit of a blur. So I studied it, law degree, then law school, then was in different law firms and tried to qualify. It didn't quite work out, but there's a level which you can practice to.
Yeah.
So I was still able to kind of represent people in tribunal and stuff.
Yeah.
My best friend at the time, who actually, funny enough, ended up living in Australia. For a while. He said to me, he never wanted to be in a situation where he was surrounded by people who weren't inspiring him.
Yeah.
And I've always it's been a lesson I've always kind of taken to heart.
Yeah.
And I just remember looking around the room, I just remember not being inspired.
Yeah.
Especially after he left the business to go, and he was kind of headhunted to move to Australia. But I just wasn't inspired. And photography was the escapism. It was very much therapy for me. It was a place where I had a lot more control.
Yeah.
When you work in law, you end up having a lot of arguments and there's a lot of contention.
Yeah. That's basically the job, right?
Exactly.
To kind of argue.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of firefighting kind of going on, whereas with photography there was just so much more control, and it just became this kind of real juxtaposition of like, I have this level of just this all the time, all this contention.
Yeah.
Whereas photography was just click, change the shutter, change that dial, dial that up, dial that down, and it's just.
Did you start on a phone to begin with, or did you start on a camera? Okay.
I did. And it's funny to me, like, people always ask me like how I got started, how I was interested in photography.
Yeah.
And like way before like even proper smartphone cameras, like the first camera phones, I'm talking about like
the Nokias and stuff.
The Nokia 7650, that brick. I had that.
And that's what you started with?
That's what I started. I just was just like taking pictures of like stupid things like sneakers or anything that kind of just looked a little bit interesting.
Yeah, okay. So you kind of like grew up with it, like a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, I was always just interested in the things that looked a certain way. And it's like, I've always kind of found it weird. Like I would be in a shop, right, and I'll see some sneakers or trainers, depending on which part of the world you're in.
Sneakers is pretty standard.
I mean, but in the UK, my UK people would be like, really, Toby? Really? Like, so. But yeah, I'd be in like a sneaker shop and see a pair of sneakers that like the design was interesting. I wouldn't necessarily wear it, but it's just interesting to me. So then I'd pick them up and be like, oh, these are interesting. My boys would be like, what, you like those? I'm like, no, I just find it interesting.
Yeah.
So I've always had that. There's always been like, even like women's fashion, like, when I've been in relationships, I'm more than happy to go out with my girlfriend and give her input and be like, no babe, why don't you try that one? Red, little something, that kind of thing.
Art director.
Yeah. No, that's terrible. Start again. What were you thinking? But I've just like, when it comes to aesthetics, I've always just had an eye for things that are pleasing to me. So whether it's balance or it manifests itself in symmetry in terms of like photography or something like that, or whether it's a unique perspective, a Dutch angle, or whether it's texture, or whether it's interesting use of color, wherever it is, there's always been stuff that's very pleasing to my eye or interesting to my eye, and I've always wanted to just kind of capture that. So that was just even before I even ever dreamed of making money from photography. Just if something was interesting to me, then even as a young kid, I just remember there was this. I used to get the bus home often, and there was this older gentleman who used to jump on the bus, and he just had so much character in his face.
Yeah.
And it's just interesting to me. There's just certain things that visually just like makes my mind think, and this is always been that way. Instagram came along, and I just got hooked.
Yeah, right.
In a kind of weird way as well.
So have you always posted like camera photos to Instagram? Like, because I think...
No, I was back and forth.
Oh, back and forth, right.
Yeah, back and forth.
Because no one really figured that out, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to post a camera photo, it's always going to be phone photos. But then I think after a while, people started to like, I want better quality.
It was harder to get the camera photos to the phone.
Yeah, back then, like there was like Dropbox, there was like, I have to plug it in, like it's like, it was weird.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so I guess so you went from being a lawyer in London and then quitting that and doing photography.
Yeah.
And then,
So there was effectively a change. I specialize in employment law.
Yeah.
There was a change in employment law, which meant that people now had to pay if you were going to take your employer to tribunal.
Right.
It had previously been free.
Yeah.
Right.
They changed the law, which meant it was probably about, let's say, in the region of, let's say, 1,500. And that might not seem like a massive amount to some people, but to some people that is a lot of money to just give up, especially if you don't know if you're going to get the outcome that you want.
Yeah.
In terms of access to justice, it just denies it for a number of people, and a lot of people couldn't afford it.
Right.
So a lot of people just didn't put in claims, and claims reduced by about 80%.
Right.
Damn.
So the need for lawyers doing that kind of work obviously dropped as well.
Yeah.
So I got a severance package, which kept me afloat for a while, but money runs out and stuff, and I just had this really interesting period where I was broke.
Fair enough.
But I think some of the best art comes out of those kind of down periods.
Yeah.
You hustle hard because you have to eat.
Yeah. I quit my job and I was kind of not working for quite a while. Yeah, and it's good. Like being broke is not good, but like you realize what you need and what you don't need like, pretty quickly.
So I'm curious, like so when you quit your job, there's an element of choice, right?
Yeah.
So did you have like confidence in yourself, like I'm gonna do this? Like what was the mindset?
I didn't quit knowing I was going to do photography.
Okay.
I quit because I worked at UPS and I wasn't meant to be there, and I kind of got stuck there after uni, and then I quit. But I'd saved a bunch of cash, so I wasn't looking for work.
Always helpful if you want to go freelance.
Yeah. Worked a lot before I quit, and then I just quit and was chilling, and then I picked up a camera and
sweet.
Kind of fell into it. So like it wasn't like I want to become a photographer, I'm going to quit tomorrow. So
Right.
Quitting takes did you just quit knowing you wanted to go into photography, or
so there was kind of there was a bit of a push and a jump.
Yeah.
So the change in law meant that I got that severance package. So that moved me out of one
that was a
field,
push.
firm. That was kind of the push. But then I was going to try, don't know why, to build up the Instagram following and still qualify as a lawyer. And I went to this law firm and I was like really trying to make a go of it, and it just wasn't working.
Yeah.
All the while this is happening, I have my own personal clients outside of this. You know, I'm working with LG. I'm working with like a bunch of different clients at the time for photography.
Well,
I'm speaking directly where I have my own clients. And it's like I'm assisting this person in this endeavor, and just the dichotomy just didn't work for me. Like, all right, cool. I'm not doing this anymore. I'm gonna. And I was looking at my peers at the time in London, and I was like, I felt like my photography and my professionalism and a number of different things that go into doing what we do was at the level where I felt I could do this, and that was that self-belief. So there was the push before, and then there was a jump where I'm like, I'm doing this. Having said that, I didn't have the savings that you had. All I had at the time was this self-belief, right? And this opportunity. I had a decent size following at this point, but it wasn't near the scale I had now. Didn't have the reputation I have now either. And so I remember not having a massive amount of cash in the bank, but I spent a good chunk of it on the A7R2.
I think you remember telling me about this.
I spent a good chunk of it on the A7R2, and again, you go from broke to being extra broke with this asset, but kind of a liability as well. But I had that plus like I said, the self belief at the time, and it was, even to this day, there's still, I think the kind of artist that I am, the kind of person I am, I'm self-aware enough where I do sometimes have the imposter syndrome where I'm like, am I really that good?
Right.
But the clients keep on knocking on the door, so I'm cool. So the self-belief was enough that made me think, I'm going to buy this camera and I'm going to make a go of this and I'm going to do well. And, you get invited to Adobe Max, you get invited to other things, and you start to realize that, okay, cool, I was right to make that decision. And I mean, there's obviously all the stuff in between that, but it is nice to get that validation.
Was there a moment like you got a job that you like thought, I can do this now, I can go freelance, so I could
like you see a glimpse of how it could be. It's like either they pay a lot or like the opportunity's great or like.
So after buying the A702, I had like this kind of dead period after Christmas, and I oh man,
makes you question everything.
But then Adidas came knocking for the NMD, the launch of the NMD.
Yeah, I did that too in Sydney.
In Sydney, awesome. And that was a good campaign to be part of. It was like a worldwide campaign.
Yeah.
It was nice to be recognised in London for being one of the people that they wanted to work with for this.
You must have been the biggest in London, because like even now there's not too many that are kind of like photographer wise like bigger as in account wise back then. So London's a very unique place in terms of like the social media scene, and it's changed a lot since it was back then. You have such a rich tapestry of individuals and different styles of art and architecture and fashion and music and all that kind of stuff. There's so much diversity there. To say that someone's the biggest is an interesting concept. I was definitely one of the top. And I think there's a lot to be said about like how you define top, right? Because in terms of I like to think there's a number of things I was bringing to the table. There was and it's the right combination of things that will make someone successful in life, on Instagram, in a workplace, in a relationship, wherever, right? And I think it was the combination of things I was bringing, because I was bringing a level of talent and I guess innovation in a space that needed it on that platform at that particular point, right? So Instagram, there's a multitude of different people doing different styles and stuff. There's some people who are doing the same style. In that within that particular style, I think I was the top, if not one of the tops, right? But then in addition to that, there's a level of professionalism I was bringing that some of my peers weren't bringing. Yeah, that's true.
You know,
so there's a lot of kids who just like don't know how to do
we've talked a lot about this, how like communication is important, and like even answering emails and networking, it's all
100%. Being a nice decent person. You know, thank you for this campaign that we worked on, or you know, turning up on time, not being entitled, like
looking forward to working with you in the future.
I don't doubt exactly. I don't doubt there's people out there who might be arguably more talented or arguably more hardworking, but it's the particular combination of things that you put together that makes you uniquely you. That will be, which will determine or have a massive influence on how successful you are.
That's true.
So London is just so diverse.
Hey, thanks for watching this YouTube snippet of our podcast. If you want to listen to the full audio podcast, head to iTunes or Spotify and search for 529 Podcast.